Enrolling. Getting online.
And we'll be streaming this live on YouTube as well. So we'll be able to, yep.
You are live on YouTube, Tom. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I see that. Good afternoon, Michael. I don't need to answer.
Okay. All right, we're going to be starting in just another minute or so. Just hang on. We got a lot of people on here, a lot of people piling in. We're excited. We're going to just do 30 minutes, hard hitting, good ideas for you to help you have a great end of the year and the beginning of 2022.
Yes, it's going to be streaming live on YouTube, Michael. You'll be able to catch up with it. We're glad you're here for 15 minutes.
We had over 1,000 people register for this, and we've got hundreds piling in. So just give us another minute or two, and we're going to get started.
Well, we are going to get started now. Tom and I are so excited about sharing excerpts from our recorded Writing 70 Life Apps in 70 Days product and our virtual class. If you get more people in the seats starting now and are able to have more compelling and focused life conversations, this goal of writing 70 life apps in 70 days for the P&C companies and 30 life apps in 70 days for the non-P&C companies will become a total reality. So we're really excited about it. So let's first get started. Whoops. All right, let's talk about meetings. Timing could not be better for scheduling meetings with your customers for this month. And then in January of 2022, the objective is for you to close out 2021 and start the new year so strong with scheduled visits with customers. And that's our objectives. Now, what's interesting about meetings is we can't live with them and we can't live without them. Sometimes we can't get out from under them because they're such an integral part of our business lives. They're a fact of life, obviously. These days, it is very important that we differentiate ourselves from competitors in the marketplace in almost every way we touch the client. This lesson on making your client meetings really work that I'm going to go over with you is one of the tools in your toolbox to make that differentiation and stand out in your client's mind in a positive professional way. Now, just curious if any of you could, put in chat, what's the benefit? What do you see the benefit to be in getting more people in seats? What do you see? Put it in your chat. What do you find that being a benefit to all of you? Definitely more opportunity. The more, the better. Your wife is happier. Building relationships, filling your pipeline, which is so important. We don't want to feel like we start the beginning of the year with nothing. All right, better rapport and relationships, absolutely. Get the momentum going. The retention is so important. Yeah, you get to see people and look at their expressions. That's so important. You can be choosier on who you want to meet with and who you don't. And it helps you practice, 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 which is really important. More premium and more retention, easier to communicate a concept when you're having a meeting, whether it's virtual or face to face, but much more easy to do that. More impact, most definitely. So there's a lot of reasons why we want to have meetings with customers. So let's start. You can take pictures of any of these slides. Let me get out of the chat. Okay. All right. This is interesting. One of my clients, this is like phenomenal feedback. Whoops, what happened here? Let me go back. How did I get back? I'm just trying to scroll back. But anyway, one of my clients they scheduled, it was in 64 appointments in 1 month. Now they have a larger agency. They had 39 appointments got conducted. And during that month and the following month, a combination from those appointments, 59 policies were written. It was pretty phenomenal. So we're going to share with you some opportunities today on how you get more people in the seats. All righty. So let's talk about the powerful PAL. And the PAL stands for the purpose, agenda, and length. So again, you can take pictures of these slides, you'll see it. But the first thing we're going to do, let's pretend somebody either calls us up for an appointment or we're calling them to schedule an appointment or they're calling in to make a payment. All right, the first thing you want to do is after you take care of their issue or when you're calling them up, the first thing you might say is in the purpose statement of the PAL, in this time of uncertainty, my agent, or you could say our agency's number one goal is to make sure you're certain of one thing, and that's your insurance coverages in case of any loss. Now, put in chat, what do you like about that opening? What does it do for you? What's the benefit of using that purpose? It gives the person buy-in, absolutely. Yep. Brings weight to the need, time sensitivity. It's a call to action, open-ended, clear message, positions us as being on their side. I love that one. Urgency, feeling of security, clear cut. Oops, it's going fast. Gives them the opening to agree with us. People want certainty now more than ever before, and that's so important. That's why that particular opening is so compelling. It does give context to it, the what's in it for them and what's in it for you. All right, so let's now go into the A. So that's the purpose statement. And that client that had so many appointments scheduled, they read that statement every single time they got someone on the phone and they wanted to schedule an appointment with them. Reading it doesn't matter. All right, because the only thing is if it says continued on next page, then they know you're reading. All righty, so now let's go into the agenda statement. Now, at this point now, you're going to tell them what you're going to cover in the meeting. So what we like to schedule a call or a visit with you to discuss how we have you covered in case of a loss, what we don't have you covered for in case of a loss. We also would like to learn what provisions you have outside of our company so we can have really a more holistic or a general view of everything you have protected. Plus, we want to be able to answer any questions that you have. So what does the agenda do for the customer? Write that down in your chat. What could it also avoid? More clarity, good, on track to run, sets expectations, keeps the meeting on track, keeps us focused, helps avoid possible gaps. You could find out what those gaps are. It's really just amazing. It's such an amazing approach and it's going to work. You're going to just love it. There are no surprises. They know why they're coming in to meet with you. There's no guesswork here. And it also could definitely make them feel important. All right, so then the last part of the PAL, whoops, I keep messing up my slides here. Whoa, what am I doing wrong? Okay. The last part of the PAL is the length of the meeting. Now, what you say at this point, let's say Tom was my customer that I was calling, or he called in for a service call. I say this call or visit, Tom, should take approximately, let's say 30 minutes. Now, this is the key. This is a key question for them. When in the next week can we get on your calendar? What's the benefit of asking them when we can get on their calendar? Put that in chat. Again, there's always a method to the madness. It's showing respect, makes them feel in charge for their time, important. The ball is definitely in their court. Absolutely. Here to serve you, makes them look at the actual calendar. They'll keep the appointment. Once you get that appointment scheduled, ladies and gentlemen, please send them, we call it an Outlook invite. Get that calendar invite on their calendar as well, so they don't miss up or miss it. It does make them feel obligated, most definitely. Here's a little, what do I want to call it? Kind of a visual, and you could use this on a whiteboard. You could use it on a flip chart pad, but you could be prepared. It could be just handwritten. But what you're going to go over with them, and it's going to help you before the meeting, is to identify what you have them protected for, and then on the center part, what you don't have them protected for, whether it's liability limits, whether it's life insurance, protection for their home, or if something were to happen to them, and then find out what are the other products that they have either at work or with another insurance company. So be a pal to everybody. And I would anticipate in your agencies, you probably could schedule a minimum of 100 appointments. Now, they're all not going to show up, 100 appointments between now and the middle of January. And we just want you to win that, because that's when you're going to have more valuable conversations. That's when you're going to be able to look them eye to eye. That's when you're able to have different illustrations that you show them. Now, we've got a live session coming up in January, the 18th, 25th, and 1st. We have a Cyber Monday special. Take a picture of this, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be through 12 o'clock tomorrow. And visit our website to enroll. And that is going to be our live session. But what's really kind of cool, and Tom is going to talk about this later, is how we get your people ready to write 70 life apps in 70 days today, especially like Tom was saying, when the month is a little slower, right? People are having time off. So it's a great opportunity for our audio product. All right. So I'm going to pass this responsibility over to you, Tom.
Right. So, Ann, here's the deal. I've got this. We're live on Facebook, right, or on YouTube right now. So I've got voices going in my head. So I turned off my speaker, so I can't hear you right now because I'm just going to be presenting. And so what I wanted to do, Ann is good at getting people in the seats, and what I'm good at doing is helping you know what to say once they're in the seat. So use Ann's PAL conversation, use her provisional conversation. When we do this live, we do about like 6.5 hours or 7 hours. I mean, it's crazy. And so I'm just going to give you 3 simple ideas. I'm just going to give you 15 minutes from my portion of what I do when we're teaching the 70 life apps in 70 days. Number one, I'm going to share with you how much life insurance your customer should have, because 99.9% of your book of business is underinsured, and I'm going to prove it to you. I'm also going to show you simple ways to transition from the P&C sale to life insurance. How do you go from a automobile insurance conversation to life insurance or homeowners? I'm going to share that with you. And then finally, I'm going to share with you why I love 10-pay whole life. Okay. So let's get into it. The reason that people are so underinsured has everything to do with interest rates. And that's what people don't understand. You might have heard that people say, oh, you need 7 times or 10 times your income for life insurance. Yeah, that worked when interest rates were 10%. Interest rates are 1%. We are in a 1% interest rate environment. If you go down to the bank, you're lucky to get 1%. I'll bet your money market isn't paying 1%. And when people die, the beneficiaries need to take that lump sum of money and they need to do something with it. And they can't put it in the stock market. They have to put it in someplace safe, because that's got to give them income for the rest of their lives. And there's really no other place to do that right now. And so let me ask you a question. How much would you need to invest at 1% interest to give you $50,000 of income? Well, the answer is $5 million. So now let me turn it around. How many of your customers that make $50,000 have $5 million worth of life insurance? Well, you say, Tom, that is ridiculous. Okay. Well, what if you could get 5%? I don't know if you could, but what if you could get 5%? How much money would you need to invest at 5% to give you $50,000 of annual income? The answer is $1 million. That is not ridiculous. See, what I'm saying is that every one of you and every one of your customers should be carrying at least $1 million of life insurance for every $50,000 of income. Now, some of you think that that's too much. So I'm going to tell you a story. And this is a true story of a widow who thought she was a millionaire. This happened when I was writing the conclusion of book number 2, Retirement Income Masters, Secrets of the Pros. So if you have this in your office, you will read this story in there. If you forget this story, it's on YouTube. You can just Google Tom Hegna, widow, millionaire. It's on YouTube. So let me tell you this story. I got a call from my son. This was several years ago. And he said, Dad, my best friend's brother died 3 weeks ago. And his wife, the widow, just got the check. And it's a big check. And she wants to meet with you on Saturday. I said, Ryan, what does she want to meet with me for? All right. I don't sell any financial products. And he said, well, that's why she wants to meet with you, because she knows you know this stuff and you're not going to try to sell her something. Well, I'd been gone for 13 days. I'm leaving the next day for 6 days. I'm home for 1 day. I said, Ryan, I'm not going to drive around the valley looking for somebody who wants to talk to me. But I said, here's what I'll do. If they want to come to my house, I will meet with them at 9 a.m. on Saturday. Well, guess what? The widow, the dad, the brother show up at my house, sat around my dining room table. She was 42 years of age, 2 little girls, husband killed unexpectedly, a $1 million death claim. After I gave her my condolences, she said these words to me. She said, Tom, I never thought I'd be a millionaire. Now, here's what I want to do. I want to build a custom house on a lake with a place for my daughters to play. I don't want a cookie cutter house. I want a custom house on a lake, place for my daughters to play. I literally had to stop her mid-sentence saying, ma'am, time out. There's going to be no custom houses here today. You only have $1 million. In a 1% interest rate environment, that's $10,000 a year. I'm here to see how you and your daughters are possibly going to survive on $10,000 a year. Now, maybe you could get 20,000, 25, 30, 35,000, but every expert I know says you can't take out 4%. 4% is going to fail, especially this has to last her for 50 or 60 years. So I said max, and this is pushing it. You are a $38,000 a year woman. You're not a millionaire. There's no custom houses I'm aware of at $38,000 a year. She was shocked. What do you mean? My husband made $250,000 a year. We can't live on $38,000 a year. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what is the minimum? The minimum somebody making $250,000 a year should have in life insurance, $5 million. We could have had a different conversation. But see, I'm telling you this true story about a widow in Arizona, but I'm looking out at you right now. What if something happened to you on the way home tonight? Many of you would be in the exact same position. So my number one best life insurance sales idea for you today is this: get your own situation straight. Make sure you are carrying at least $1 million of life insurance for every $50,000 of income and start recommending that on appointments. They're not all going to buy, but say these words. Say, our firm professionally recommends you carry at least $1 million of life insurance for every $50,000 of income. And when they say, well, that sounds a little high to me, you tell them the story of the widow in Arizona who thought she was a millionaire, who is now stuck living a $38,000 a year life with her 2 little girls. See, when you die, your spouse is going to ask 4 simple questions. And it's not going to be, do we have term life or whole life or index life? Do we have MetLife or New York Life or State Farm? Those are not going to be the questions. The 4 questions your spouse is going to ask: how much life insurance do we have? How long will the dollars last? Can we stay in our same house? And can the kids go to the same school? My question for you is, what do you want the answers to be? And when people would say, oh, I don't need that much life insurance, I don't want to pay for her next boyfriend's retirement, I would just turn it around and I say, well, okay, but you understand the kids aren't going to be able to go to the same school. So what's your plan? And you're not going to be able to stay in this house. So are you going to move in with her parents or your parents? Just kind of let me know how you're thinking. I would turn it around to make it a little more real for them. Now, let me share with you some transition statements from P&C to life insurance. A lot of people don't know this, but I was the number 5 P&C producer in the country for MetLife for a year or two while I was when I was back working with MetLife. So I've sold auto, I've sold home, I've sold all this. And so one thing I would recommend is get a keychain. Now I got my fob. The fob doesn't work. What I would rather see you do is get some of those baby keys, those plastic baby keys that they put in their mouths and they chew. Get a set of those. And then you just take it and you say, what's on your keychain? Well, your your house key is on there. Well, guess what? We got that covered. If your house burns down, no problem. We're going to replace your house. Oh, your car key, that's a fob. We got that covered. You total your car. Guess what? You're going to get a new car. You sink that boat to the bottom of the lake. Guess what? We got that covered. You're going to get a new boat, but then drop the keys. But what about you? We don't have a full replacement policy on you. We need to get a full replacement policy on you. And one of the things that Ann and I talk about a lot in our session is the value of a human life. When we go over human capital, we go over human life value. We help you figure out exactly what is the replacement value for that person. But you know, you've got your car covered, you got your house covered. What about you? What is your replacement value? And my final idea for you today is on 10-pay whole life, and that's a picture of me. I'm going to tell you the rest of my story. A lot of people think of me as the annuity guy, the retirement guy, but I started out as a life insurance guy, okay? So that is a picture of me when I was 24 years old. I was a captain in the U.S. Army. I was at Fort Ord, California. I was a company commander, and there was a MetLife agent going through my unit selling whole life insurance to my soldiers. And you need to understand, at the time, I did not believe in whole life. I believed in buy term and invest the difference. And I said, who is this guy ripping off my soldiers? I said, bring him to me. Because when you're a commander, you can do that. I said, bring him to me. And they said, well, sir, he can meet with you tomorrow. He wants your birth date. I said, give him my birth date. I want to see him tomorrow. So he comes in my office. And you got to understand, this was before ERISA and TEFRA and TAMRA and all that stuff. So at the time, there was no 7-pay test. Right now, there's a 7-pay test. You have to pay life insurance at least 7 years, or it's considered a modified endowment contract, a MET contract. I'm not going to get into that, but this was before then. So he gives me, I said, I hear you're out there ripping off my soldiers with this rip-off life insurance. He said, no, sir, I'm helping protect their families. I'm helping them save up for down payment on a house, helping them pay their children's college education. He went over all the benefits and he said, oh, by the way, your soldiers were nice enough to give me your birth date, so I ran a printout for you. And he puts it in front of me. And this was a 5-pay whole life. I told you now it's got to be at least 7, but this was before then. This is a 5-pay whole life. And I'm looking and I say, let me see this piece of crap. And I say, okay, I pay this for 5 years and then I don't pay anymore. And within the 6th year, I got all my cash value. And then that grows every year and the death benefit grows every year. I'm looking at this thing. I said, who would buy term insurance when you can buy this? He said, well, I don't sell much term insurance. That's what I sell. I said, do you get paid to sell this stuff? He said, I get paid a lot to sell this stuff. I said, I could sell that stuff. And that's how I got in the business. I'm a big believer in accelerated pay policies, whether you sell whole life or IUL or whatever you sell. You know, the reason people don't like whole life is they think they got to pay for their whole life. So I'm telling you, your 10-pay policy is a game changer. So let me just go over this. This happened about 5 years ago because I had them run a policy on me, 55-year-old male, $1 million death benefit. You can see the premium there is $57,000 a year. And you're going to say, who's going to pay $57,000 a year for a whole life insurance? My annual premium is $226,000. Okay. I got a much bigger policy than this. And you will find successful people all over the country putting hundreds of thousands of dollars into whole life, because what you got to understand is that the premium of whole life is not the cost of whole life. See, many of your team members are afraid of writing whole life because they think it's so expensive. It's not expensive. Let me prove it to you. If I pay $57,000 a year for 10 years, look at the middle column at the very bottom. What have I paid total over that 10-year period of time? $573,000. But now look over just to the right of that. What's the cash value? $581,000. What did this policy cost me over 10 years? Well, I got paid about $8,000 to have that policy over 10 years. Now, when I flip to the next page and look at the death benefits over $1 million. So now you see the cash value. Look at the next page. I am paying 0,000. You see that 0,000? Look at what the cash value does. That's the third from the right column. That keeps growing. The cash value keeps growing. It hits $1 million cash in there when I'm 85. The death benefit keeps growing. This is what I love about whole life insurance is that, and you can do this with index life or whatever policy you like, but show people a limited pay. And here's my holiday suggestion for you. You think it's going to slow down because of the holidays? Let me tell you what, this is a time to talk to all the grandparents. And you run a 10-pay whole life for their grandchild, and you solve for $1 million of cash value of that grandchild's age 65. If $1 million is too much, you solve for $500,000 or $250,000. But you show grandparents, you could even solve it for having cash value of $100,000 at that grandchild's age 65. The grandparents love it. It is a better present to give to a grandchild than toys that break and the batteries go dead. I'm just telling you, this 10-pay whole life or 10 pay IUL or whatever product you want, that is the way to do. And I ran one on a 40-year-old female. You can see 29,000. So over 10 years, she's put in 292,000, but look at her cash value, $331,000. You know, even the guaranteed cash value, look at the guaranteed cash value is more than what she put in. So this is something where we spend a lot of time educating your team members on how this stuff works, because I'm telling you, you start selling bigger policies and stop showing term illustrations under $1 million. Term is cheap for a reason. They're supposed to buy a bunch of it. You're supposed to sell a bunch of it. Use these words. We sell term in units, 1 million, 2 million, 5 million. How many units would you like? Stop showing term under $1 million. Start showing more 10 pay limited policies. And I'm telling you, your sales are going to go right through the roof. So one of the things that Ann and I did was we recorded our 70 and 70 so that you can watch it at your leisure. And I'm telling you, in November, December, when things kind of slow down around the holidays, let us train your team members. All right. This is an all day pre-recorded. It's available online. We let you have 5 users. So this can be for your entire office. You and all your team members have access to this. It's over 4.5 hours. We cut out any of the fluff stuff. This is pure training, 4.5 hours. They're broken up into many different little segments. We've trained already over 1,200 agents. We have numerous agencies writing now 70 life apps every 70 days. And what if you only wrote 50 life apps every 70 days? That's about 250 life apps a year. Let me just ask you a question. What would 200 or 250 life apps every year do for your production? What would it do for your travel? What would it do for your income? What would it do for your team members' income? I think it would help them a lot. And you can talk to the people who've attended our live classes. We've been doing this for years now. If this was not working, we would have stopped it a long time ago. We're doing it more than ever. So here's what the curriculum includes. Back to basics. What is life insurance? Turning lemons into lemonade, making the objective of 70 life apps in 70 days a reality, transitioning away from transactional selling to promote life insurance. We're really going to focus on you protecting the children in your book of business, handling objections. I talk a little about my Don't Worry, Retire Happy, where life insurance fits in retirement, practical life insurance conversations, the words and language, because it's all about words, language, questions, and stories. And that's what we give you. We break down the different types of insurance policies, when you should use term, when you should use universal life, when you should use whole life. We give you different sales approaches. I share with you the 9 circles presentation that when you die, everything you own is going to go one of 3 places: your family and friends, charity, or the IRS. Unfortunately, right now, most of your clients have more money going to the IRS than they do to their own children. And we teach you how to solve that problem. The story of the cash cows, it's one of the most powerful stories that I share. I give you 15 top takeaways. Ann gives you 15 top takeaways. Ann will be doing the provisional conversation. As I said, Ann loads this thing up on getting people in the seats. I help you with making the presentation and closing it and actually getting the business. Now, we have a special offer on this recorded session for you today. You get access to the whole full curriculum. We normally charge $500 to attend a live session. I mean, we got a Black Friday special or Cyber Monday today, but normally $500. You can have 5 users. So you and all your team members can be on this. So that's a $2,500 value right there. You get the complete workbook so that you can go through the workbook. You can stop, you can rewind, you can record, you can watch these over and over and over. And there's an additional recording of 30 minutes of questions and answers. That's over a $3,000 value. But today, for $500, you can get that for 5 people. All right. You just go to tomhagner.com/70 and 70. That is a steal. You know, a lot of people say, where should I invest my money? Bitcoin or stocks or ETFs or mutual funds? I will tell you this, the best investment you will ever make is an investment in yourself, an investment in your team. You invest in yourself in your office, you can make millions of dollars that way. You put the $500 in Bitcoin, you'll be lucky if you double it, or stocks. I mean, over 5-10 years, you can double it. This thing can turn you into $1 million producer if you want. And Ann and I are there to help you do it. You're also going to be offered, if you take advantage of that, you're going to be offered to get all of our slides. For $199. We normally sell the slides for $499. Now that's optional. You don't have to get it, but where that helps you is you can then use the same words, the same visuals that we train you. Now you can use that with your clients. So That's really the deal. We wanted to keep this short. We wanted to respect your time. Ann's going to have a couple of closing comments here. If there are any questions, you might want to put those in the chat or the Q&A. We can take a few questions. I have a hard break here pretty soon, but Ann can stay. And Ann said she would take your questions via email at acohen@themarviscenter.com. So with that, Ann, I'll turn my ears back on and I will turn it over to you to talk.
Okay, well, we covered a lot in 30 minutes, and I think we've given you nuggets to make that a reality in writing those 70 life apps in 70 days for the PNC organization and at least 30 life apps in 70 days for the non-PNC organizations. We are trusting that these nuggets, you're walking away with at least 3 different nuggets that you might not have had when you started the series with us this morning, but we're just really excited about you, certainly participating in this $500 for 5 seats on the recorded version. I'm a training person. I am a sales coach. The best way to get your team trained is repetition over and over again. You might start lesson 1 and play it 3 times. Go to lesson 2, go to lesson 3, play it over and over. That's what gets people confident and motivated and skilled to be able to write what they're supposed to write, the 70 life apps in 70 days. So we're very excited. So what questions?
And there was a question that came in, is this recorded? And we are recording this and we will send it out to everybody who attended and everybody who registered but didn't attend. So, and we're fine if you want to share that with other people that you know, because we're trying to help as many people have the best end of 2021 and the best 2022. Let me tell you, if you would invest your time and money into this, I can promise you, you're going to have your best 2022 of life insurance ever. And I think, Ann, you'll echo that statement, but I'll be quiet now and to see if there's any other questions.
No, and to supplement that, you've got, Cyber Monday with, a discount on the live version. So get them ready. So when they're in the meeting with us, these ladies and gentlemen are aware of what's going on, but they also have great questions because Tom and I filter loads of questions. So we're very excited for you, to participate today and hope to see you soon. Thanks,
all right.
Tom.
Thank you all for attending.